Hi there, this is Roberta Montagnini. I know, it's been a while since I recorded a video, and today was one of those days that I thought, well, maybe I should not show myself because, I'm not ready, my hair is beautiful, and I look fabulous. So I recently moved to the US. I received my furniture a few days ago, and it's just like this. But, everything else is more exciting than unpacking and getting things ready. And because there's a competition around the corner and I want to submit some images, I thought it would be a good idea to show you how I edit this image right here. And, if I was to get ready and look all dolled up, you would not be getting this video. So I hope it's okay. So yes, guys, I am going to be editing this image. If you have any questions, any suggestions for further videos, please don't forget to leave in the comments below. I'm really thankful for all of you that subscribe and send me messages, and it's pretty cool. All right, so without any further ado, I'm gonna get started, and I hope you like it. I kind of started before, and that's why I decided to record. So I've just done a little bit. I just went on Liquify and, I pulled the hair up a bit and fixed a little bit of the hand so it's more centralized. But other than this, I haven't done anything to the skin or anywhere else. So I'm gonna get started. So just bear in mind that the image was, I started without showing you. So I'm gonna get started. As always, I like to create a blank layer. And with the blank layer, I like to go over the skin and try to fix. So my idea here, I'm gonna be fixing all those things on, the makeup. I did this makeup. I'm gonna remove the white dots just because I don't think they look cool. I'm gonna fix all the skin, and hopefully this will look presentable when it's done. All right, so I'm gonna get here my healing brush tool, and I'm going to fix some of the blemishes, the most obvious ones. Make sure when you select your healing tool, the sample is set to current and below. Anything that is on this current layer and below this layer is going to be, how do I say? It's going to stamp, or it's going to be visible right there. Sorry, when I edit, I don't really. I'm so focused on doing the work that I forget the words. But, this is what I'm doing. I'm sampling and it's copying on this layer. This is what the current layer. And the reason why I select a blank layer is so that my real layer doesn't get, messed up if I mess up. So there are a bit of work to do because this girl has a little bit of acne and some acne marks. So this will be a little bit longer than most photos, even also because she has, the makeup that I have to fix, both girls. But hopefully it's going to look good enough to send to a competition and try getting, a high place on the submission, on the competition. So as I do this, I'm gonna see if I can talk. So I recently moved to the States. I was previously living in Germany. And prior to that, I was in the UK. So I have been in the US since Halloween 2020. And it's been quite a change. I have not been able to experiment and experience much of the States yet. Pretty much because COVID, and COVID sucks. So I'm using now here spot healing brush because I'm going to remove this hair. So I'm not sampling anymore. So yeah, I've been here since Halloween 2020, and it's been a bit hectic. We bought a house, and the house is not that great. There was a lot of work that I had to do, like, you know, painting the cabinets, painting the walls. We were quoted $15,000 to paint the walls, and then I decided to do it myself. But gosh, that was a lot of work. On top of other things, you know, if it was just painting, that would be okay. But there were many other things that I'm not gonna bother you guys with the details. But yeah, it's been an interesting, you know, time period. I do like, though, the city where I am. I am on the coast. The beach is only about 10 minutes drive from where I am. A nicer beach is about, I would say, maybe 25 minutes, a nicer one. And Virginia Beach, which is probably the most famous one in the area, is a 45 minutes drive if traffic is okay. I haven't been there yet, so hopefully it's nice. I wasn't born, you know, I never grew up on the beach, you know, in a beach town. I used to go to the beach when I lived in the UK, but beaches there are not really that fancy. When I lived in Italy, though, I lived near Venice, and there was quite a nice beach there. It's called Jesolo. Very nice. Yeah, so being in the US since October, trying to adjust. I set up my business, everything is ready to go, but I'm not ready yet because I need to do my garage. I need to fix my garage because I plan to work, setting up my studio in my garage, getting my space right there. So if I have clients, they don't have to walk through my home. Yeah, but you know, I'm keeping positive because when you're positive, things just, you know, it's life. Most people won't get things very easily and, you know, smoothly. So there's always a little bit of, you know, some bumps on the way, and it's okay. I know that there are people in much worse situations, so I try not to complain too much. So again, here back on the image, I'm still healing the skin, trying to fix as much as I can as I go. This image may be quite long. I envision about an hour, maybe less, but you know, trying to be a bit more realistic, probably an hour. We'll see. So far what I've done on the image, you can see here. So these are all the areas that I've been working on. To see the screen like this, you hold Alt on your keyboard and you just push the I, press the I, and you're going to be able to see that layer isolated. And if you click back, all the other layers will be visible again. So for competition, what are the judges looking? I wish I knew like exactly what each of them are looking, but you know, beauty and mood and time, everything is so subjective, and it's very hard, especially when you don't know who's judging your image. And it also depends, what is the judge's mood on the day they are judging your images? Are they happy? Are they unhappy? Are they excited? Are they bored? You know, you never know. But one thing is, an image to be worthy of winning an award, an image needs to communicate with the viewer. It needs to inflict some sort of emotion, regardless if this emotion is a happy one or a sad one. It needs to have an emotion, you know, have a feeling. And if the image doesn't have anything specific, you know, it needs to generate discussion. So think about it. If you send an image and if it's just pretty, you know, pretty images don't win awards. I mean, what I mean by that is a pretty image is okay. No, cool, it's a pretty image, but you know, most people can take a pretty image. What important is the narrative of that image. You know, what does the image tell you? Would it look good on on a wall? Does that tell a story? What kind of story that does the image tell? Like, the image doesn't need to be explicit, you know, oh, this is an image about, you know, a sad girl. Okay, but why is she sad? You know, it must generate some sort of how do I say, message, you know, and people need to be like talking about the image, trying to understand, and that is a award-winning image. I have won a gold at WPPI, and I've won a few awards already on WPPI, first places, second place, third places. I recently won also 5 trophies from WP Awards, International Awards, and I've only just started, you know. I've always liked photography, but I've been I've really delved into it about 3 years ago. And one of the things about me, I'm a perfectionist, which sometimes is kind of a pain, but it's very good because it keeps me, you know, focused on quality and precision. And yeah, so if you want to submit your image to competition, forget about, oh, but my image is pretty, why didn't I score anything? If your image is just pretty, I'm being blunt with you, it's not gonna do anything for you. It's okay, it might score like, you know, yeah, good image, but you're not gonna win. Your image needs to have an emotion, a reason, a meaning, or something like that. All right, so let's see what I've been doing here. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, I'm still using the healing, and I intercalate with the clone stamp tool. I'm trying to remove those things that I painted here over. I think the image will look much nicer if it's all black. So now I'm using the healing brush, sampling an area of the skin to replace, to replace, and now it's not doing it. What did I do wrong? All right, we're back. So I'm using the clone tool, and I use my keyboards a lot for shortcut. S on my keyboard changes the, you know, to the clone, and if I press J, it goes to the healing brush tool. I cannot leave without my shortcuts. I use the keyboard a lot. Yeah, so here on the image, I'm trying to do this, you know, fix the skin, try not to get too much in the eyebrow. Sampling. If you sample and it doesn't look great, you know, try sampling over again and just go. So this image I created last year, I think. No, the year before. Last year was 2020, guys. Oh my gosh, it was interesting, to put it this way. It was not the the most creative year because, you know, with being and, you know, doing quarantine and following the rules and things like that, you know, I don't want to see people. And photography is, you see people all the time, you know. To do your photo, you need to touch your client. So at every opportunity, I would photograph, but I didn't have as much of freedom as I had like in 2019. But 2020 was not a bad year at all, you know, like bad as in bad business. It was actually a good business for me, and I know quite a few people, they also had good business because of photography, and COVID also sort of helped, which is, I thought it was a bit weird because it was my best year in business, if I'm honest. But yeah, I know for a lot of people it sucked. Like, it sucked because I moved from Germany to the US, and I didn't see my mom because I couldn't travel to the UK to see her, and it sucked that way because, you know, couldn't travel. I had plans and I wanted to travel more when I was in Europe, go see other places, Croatia, and I wanted to see Athens, and I couldn't because COVID blew up while I was in holiday in March in Prague, and we were almost locked in the country. I could not We took the last flight from the airport. We were on the last flight from the airport to Germany, to Frankfurt. And after our flight departed, the airport was closed. We had our flight canceled the day before, which was a bit worrisome. And we also had to get a hotel for the extra day because our flight was canceled. It was an interesting journey. All right, so let me see what I'm doing here. So I told you this image is going to be a bit long to edit, but it's probably going to be worthy. So I'm just using the healing brush here, trying to heal as much as possible of the image. You can see here before and after. It's looking decent. So I'm going to carry on removing those things here on the forehead. It doesn't really matter if the tone is not well, because I can go fix this later. You know, I just want to make sure it's not white. Now I'm getting this clone stamp just to fix here slightly. I'm gonna make sure it's about like 20 opacity and 20 flow, like here. So I'm submitting this image to a category named, it's named Opposites. And hopefully it's a good choice for the category. You know, for opposites. One is white, the other is black. They're friends, different cultures, different upbringings. Opposites, maybe not. I don't know. So I had talked about my year a bit last year. So tell me about yours. What did you do? You know, how is photography for you? How is your business going? Did you have any struggles? Was it a good business year for you? You know, what if you could think back 2020, what was good? What was bad? Was it really all bad? Or, did you enjoy some time with your family? Did you struggle financially? How are you doing right now? Is it better? I would be very interested to hear what everyone is going through, and it would be cool. Okay. Boy, there is a lot to do. Okay, it's looking better. So you have an idea of how the makeup will look now. I'm gonna do the same on this other girl. Her name is Serena, and this girl is called Selena, and they are very good friends. They are German. It's just funny how, the stars aligned and they both met, with such a similar name. It's quite interesting. Life is funny sometimes. So I just created another blank layer here. I'm just gonna be doing this. I'm using just a spot healing brush, seeing if this works. Normally this tool is a hit or miss depending on what you're doing, but so far here has been a hit. So it is set to content aware. So anything that is near it, it's trying to, it's aware of the surroundings and trying to hit, fix the area you're trying to conceal with something nearby, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Sometimes I feel like my English doesn't make sense. All right, that's not too bad. And then here, the same. When I did the makeup, I didn't have any templates to follow. I was just like really interested to do something cool, but I had no idea what to do. Also, I decided to make this video full length. I'm not going to be cutting it, so let me know if you like this kind of format. I know it's going to be super long, but I'm not going to edit the video, you know, remove anything. I'm just going to post it as it is. So let me know if you like this format, and this way I can create content that you guys enjoy. So here I'm just trying to make the line a bit more straight. Also, if you did not read the more information about this video, I'm using a tablet called Wacom Intuos. Let me just check so it's said correctly. Wacom Intuos Pro. It's a pen tablet. The model is PTH460. It's the small one. I used to edit with a medium, but it's too big. The smallest, the better. And it's cheaper too, which is cool. If you don't have a tablet to do small work, like, you know, detailed work, it's really tough, and you're not gonna get the same quality, you know, with a mouse. You can try, but you're gonna work harder, and it's all about working efficiently. So if you can afford a tablet, get one. You know, check the reviews for the best ones. I love Intuos Pro. Intuos, the Wacom brand. Had my first tablet I bought when I was at university 10 years ago, and I saved money to buy it, and I bought it. It was the Intuos 4. I bought the medium size, and it lasted about 10 years. It's still, I didn't use that much, but I sold it not long ago for about 100 euros, and it was still in pretty good shape. You know, I treat my stuff with really a lot of care. I keep the boxes too, because you never know. I like doing that. So if you are shopping for a tablet, I really recommend this tablet that I'm using. It's great. You're not gonna be upset. If you don't have the money for it yet, you know, save. Instead of buying something, you know, a little bit good, save for this one if you can. It's great. And I'm not sponsored, I wish. Wacom, I'm here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's looking good. Also, the gear that I used to photograph this image, I used Canon 5D Mark IV, and I used the 2470 2.8 USM Mark II lens. It's an amazing lens. And I know I photographed with that lens because 2 people, and I don't have the space in my studio, so I know by heart that it was that lens. I also used strobes, Flashpoint Evolv200, and I bought that at Adorama, and 2 cheap umbrellas. So I'm using here now the clone tool, just trying to fix the makeup a bit more, you know. I'm gonna just merge those together, and you can see here what I've done, you know, so far. I don't know how long it's been since I started editing. Yeah, I want this image looking great. I think I'm gonna have a bit of problem with hair because the hair looks messy, and I want to fix some of the flyaways. But overall, I think the images are looking great. There's a little hair here in the eye. I'm gonna fix that. Now to fix the, you know, she's wearing a wig, so I'm gonna fix this hairline. So to do this, I'm gonna create a blank layer. I'm gonna get my brush, and I'm gonna get this brush here, which is the hard ground pressure size, whatever, And hardness, I'll put it to 100 because I'm going to be creating hair strokes. I'm going to zoom in close. I'm going to use the rotate tool so I can rotate the canvas. I press R on my keyboard. And I'm going to get my brush back again, and I'm going to sample an area. Make sure my opacity is about 60 and the flow about 60 as well. So both here, opacity and flow 60, and let's start. So I want to be painting. Let's see if I can see anything. Let's get a dark color. Okay, I think this is working. So I'm just painting over here, creating some hair. So this is what I'm doing. Can you see here? This is the hair stroke. And I'm just painting over. And I'm gonna do the same here. Trying to sample the same color that is nearby. And I try to every now and then sample different colors because hair have dimension, you know, different colors. So just don't stick to one color. Try to sample different shades of the hair you're painting. To sample, I use Alt as a brushing. So I'm brushing, but then in between I press Alt so I can sample. And then if you press escape, you can see what you know, we can remove the rotation. So like this, and then ESC, and it goes back. So here you can see the before and after. Now I'm gonna rotate because I'm gonna be doing this other size, and I'm gonna go back to the brush, and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm just brushing away like that. So now I'm using a very dark color because that's like the under layer. And I try to create a little, you know, hair. Sometimes in the front of your head doesn't look perfect. So I'm gonna try to do this here. You know, not a perfect hairline, you know, like as if I want it to look like it's real hair. I do have different wigs that I use occasionally, and I like it to have a very realistic feel. So now I'm going to sample a different color. It's a bit brighter. I gotta make the brush a little bit smaller. Now rotate back to the first state. Gonna get a darker color. And then zoom out because nobody looks at the image that close, and you can see here before and after with just that. So I like it, but for now I'm gonna just hide this layer. I'm gonna create another empty layer, put it below here. I'm just gonna name this one hair, so it's a bit organized. See here. Now on this layer, I'm going to select the clone stamp tool. I'm gonna make sure the hardness is set to 0, and the size varies. Also opacity and flow, I'm gonna do 40 each. And I'm just gonna select a color nearby, and just gonna try to blend here, like with the hairline, you know, so there's no, that line is gone. I'm gonna get some hair here. Now extending the makeup here to the hairline. Now I'm gonna get this hair and I'm gonna try to smoke a little bit so there's not much of a, you know, scalp showing. And now I'm gonna bring the hair back. So see, I add a little, it looks a bit more smokier, more realistic. So I think it's not too bad. So now I'm gonna get my the blur tool here, and it's set to 100%. Maybe it's a bit too much. I'm gonna do 20%, and I'm just gonna blur this hair like that. And now I'm gonna create another layer, and I'm gonna make it soft light here. I'm gonna get my brush, set it to white. And let's see 100% how it looks. I think it's too much. Maybe it is too much. Maybe not. I think that's good. 100% flow and opacity. I'm gonna rotate my layer and I'm gonna give this some highlights. You know, because hair has highlights depending how the lighting is hitting your hair. You get a nice shine. Now I'm also gonna be using the black to give some shadow because, you know, hair has shadow. And I don't know if other people do this. This is how I do. I sort of develop this as I go, learned, you know, as I always learn something new with Photoshop. But I find this to be quite easy and accomplish what I want. So I've just switching back and, you know, to white and black where I didn't fit, where I see fit. Yeah, whatever. Where I think it works. Like that. Let's see how this looks. Let's zoom out. Ooh, I think that's looking pretty good. That's a pretty good hair. Okay, and now the other side. I'm going to do the black first. This technique is the same if you want to paint people's eyebrows. I use the same thing for eyebrows. Very easy. I'm just using the black. Now I'm gonna be using some white to add some highlight. If you mess up, just undo. I'm gonna rotate my screen to find it better. And you just paint following the hair, you know how the hair is naturally going, so you just follow that. I think that's looking pretty good. Let me put this all in a group so you can see before and after. Hair there looks really good. Well done, me. I like it. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you want to do it yourself? And if you look at the image, as the image goes, you know, further back, it gets blurrier. So you need to address this when you paint hair. So the ones more here towards the front, they're gonna be more sharp. So we're not gonna blur these ones. Okay, and I'm gonna get my blur tool and I'm gonna blur just the back a little bit. It's already set to 20%, so I'm happy with that kind of blur. so it all blends in nice like that. And here I'm gonna set my blur to 10%, so I do a very quick one in front. And I think we're all done here. Love it. I really like it. Okay, so hairline is done. Hope that was helpful. Now what we're gonna do, there's just a few things that we need to do, and I never know where to go. So let's try fixing some of the flyaways. So I'm going to just merge these layers together. Actually, I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to merge them together. So some people hate doing that, but I just like cleaning up my layers as I go. So I selected the clone stamp tool. I'm going to make opacity and flow, set them to 50%. And my hardness, the brush hardness, I'm going to be about 50%. And now I'm going to sample an area of my background, and I'm just going to paint around like this. So I don't want the hairline to be like perfect, you know, like something like, you know, like this, because it just doesn't look natural. I just want to clean up a little bit. So I'm gonna make the flow, the hardness a little bit more, you know, bigger, more big. Great English, Roberta. Well done. Didn't say more big, anyway. And if you do too much, just erase it and then go back. And here too, see, like the background is getting a bit lighter, but it's okay, we can fix this later. Just trying to worry about the hair for now. Oh, it got to the edge of the page. I'm gonna be sampling from the bottom now because it's a bit darker, the skin, the background. And now I'm gonna sample here, and I'm gonna set it to 20% and 20% flows, just so I can create a more smooth transition and gradient on the background. I'm going over the hair, but I can just delete it soon. Okay, now I'm going to use my eraser. If you're not comfortable, well, let's use the mask, because mask I can always undo. So flow and opacity set to 100. Get your brush, set it to black because it's white. So now you can paint over like this. Just make sure you get the right brush, soft round. And I'm gonna set this flow to 10%. So I can bring back some of the, you know, the flyaways, because everybody has flyaways. Let's see. I think that's pretty okay. It's not bad. Okay. Yeah, I think so. So what I do, I just duplicate the layer. To do this, I use Command Option Shift and E, and it just screenshots the top layer, and I just, you know, I'm happy with it. Now, I'm gonna create another layer, and I'm gonna use my brush, and again, you know, the hair thing. So I'm gonna make it about 7, and opacity and full set to 100. gonna make it more like 3. And you see this hair is here. I'm just gonna create some like flyaways, but like how do I say, more like a more well-behaved flyaway, you know, not just like a crazy, not like something like this. I just wanted to follow the hair. Don't forget to sample the color nearby. You know, I'm gonna add some like this. Now I'm gonna get my blur. I'm gonna blur it. I'm gonna set the blur to 20%. I'm gonna blur more. And I'm gonna get the brush again. And I'm gonna blur once more here. So it looks a bit more, you know, realistic, if that makes sense. Okay, now I'm gonna just merge this one. Yeah, so you can see here the before and after so far. It's probably an hour by now that I start editing the image. I told you, we have a long way to go. I'm gonna do the same way with this girl here on the side with Selena on this other side. I'm gonna be selecting an empty layer, selecting my clone stamp tool, making sure it's about like 60 and 60 flow, 60 opacity, 60 flow, and gonna get the hardness about 60-40. I'm just gonna brush away here. I'm gonna get the hardness now to a little more like 0. And I think this will look okay, but I don't know. I'm gonna create here a mask. I'm gonna get my brush set to 100%, 100 flow. Just gonna, why is it not working? Oh yeah. Get the brush, the right brush. Sometimes you're on the wrong brush. Get it, the hardness a bit, like 20. I'm just gonna paint over like that. And I can just go back here to her finger. I find sometimes easier going over an area and then just erasing with a mask. Much easier and faster. Do you do that as well? Are you familiar with masks? So you see like a little bit of a difference there. Okay, let's see what I can do with this hair. I'm gonna get my clone stamp tool back, and I'm gonna create another layer. I'm just gonna paint over like this. Just selecting hair and painting over. Okay, I think that looks okay. I'm gonna add some flyaways in a second. So now I'm gonna go back here and try to fix those flyaways on the side. So I set my opacity and flow to 40. Just gently, I'm sampling a blank area and just gently going over here. Now, the point is to reduce the flyaways but not eliminate them. I always like to zoom out to see what I'm doing, and I think it's pretty good. So here I'm going to create another empty layer at the very top and then merge them. And now I'm going to select this patch tool just so I can blend the background better. So select an area and then try to put it somewhere where you can, you know, patch. Okay, pretty good. Now I'm gonna create an empty layer again. I'm queen of empty layers and layers. Select my brush, hard round pressure size, and 100%. Set the brush to about 7 or like smaller, 5, 100%. And now I'm gonna select sample. Oh, that is too strong. Let's do 60% and flow 60. Let me undo this. Maybe 70% opacity. I'm gonna rotate the screen a little bit. And I'm trying to follow her hair. You see, like there's a little curve going on here. I'm gonna take a bigger brush. I think that looks good. Not good. Doesn't look good, so I'm undoing it. I'm gonna get it. If you see here, I got a bigger brush as well, be more efficient. So if you don't want to suffer like I'm doing now, you know, because of the editing, make sure your image look as good as possible before you shoot. Otherwise, it's painful. You know, quite tedious because you're doing the same thing. Okay, I think looks good. Let me go back. I'm gonna get some thinner flyaways here and there. Now I'm gonna use my blur, and I'm gonna blur. And then I'm gonna use not a blur. Oh, that was a different image I edited recently. Not my image, I edited for a client. So if you have images that you want me to edit, hit me up. check my website for pricing, and I can edit your images as well. Okay, I think that's much better. So see here, before and after, it's pretty good. I like it. Now I'm gonna be doing the same here on this side, just adding more, just some gentle flyaways. Okay, I think that's looking good. Let's see before and after. Great, I'm gonna merge them. See before and after, and before and after. So here we just use now my liquify. Go to filter and then find liquify. And I'm just gonna fix the way the hair is going here on her face. I think that looks nice. Also, I'm gonna make her arms a little bit more slim here, just so they match a bit more. Okay, oops, don't delete. So I'm gonna save just in case my image decides to die, you know, the computer decides to crash. So it's just saving right now. And now what is next? Okay, I think I need to do some dodge and burning. I'm gonna make so here on my panel of actions, I'm going to create a dodge and burn. This panel will be ready for sale very soon. I'm just trying to finish, you know, as soon as possible, and you guys can buy it. So I like to use a black and white layer for help. You know, I name it help, so it helps me to visualize the image without any color interference, but the image is still colored. So now I'm going to be using my dodge. It lightens the image. I'm going to set the flow to 2%. I'm going to get my brush, soft round brush here. And now I'm going to be lightening areas of the skin that I think needs lightening. I was so chatty at the beginning, and now I'm quiet, but you know, I'm focused, and it's over an hour now that I'm editing. So I'm gonna try to fix the blemishes on her arms mainly with the Dodge and Burn, or as much as possible with Dodge and Burn, because I still want her skin to look like skin. And sometimes when we use what's it called, frequency separation or other techniques to erase things on the skin, it just takes all the skin look away, and I still want it to look like skin. So I'm just making sure everything lightens, you know, I can lighten as much as possible. I'm going to increase the flow to 10%. Be very careful now with the smaller brush. Actually, I'm going to do a 5. Oops, 50 is too much. 5%. And I go over around like this. So you can see here, this was just done with Dodge and Burn, you know, doing the Dodge and Burn, but you can see the difference. I'm gonna hide the helper. You can see here, just lighting the blemishes on her skin. Nothing was added. I was just lighten the dark. I love this because, you know, it keeps the texture, it keeps the image pretty much intact. Go away. Sometimes I just push the keys on my keyboard and I don't even know what's going on. I'm sure there might be other easier ways to do it that I'm not familiar. I find that this is one way to do it that is, you know, straightforward, you know, and I know what I'm gonna be getting out of the image. But yeah, I don't know if another way would be like this, you know, keep the image intact. So now I'm gonna use the Burn, which is the opposite of Dodge. So I'm gonna be making things darker. So I'm just gonna go over areas that, also make sure you're using the white, because white paints the black, reveals the mask, you know, because it's now the mask is hidden. Also make sure your flow is set to 2% because it just doesn't need that much darkening. And you can always build that by going with the brush over multiple times. And now I'm just gonna give some big overall like that. Let's see the before and after. I'm excited to see it. Look at that. It's great improvement on the skin here. Let's see on her face. I'm gonna do the Burn here on her jawline or her mouth, near her mouth. And I'm gonna use the light to make some areas lighter. So it's harmonizing the light in the way that the light touched her face. See that the difference is, this is just Dodge and Burning. I'm not adding any color on her skin. So I'm just gonna try to, I'm making the blemishes darker. I want to make the blemishes lighter. Make sure you use the right layer, Roberta. So I'm using now the Dodge. I'm lightening some blemishes. I'm going to do the same here. Let's see here before and after. We just Dodge and Burn. I think it looks really good. You can always go back and try fixing other areas. Like for example here, just seeing her arm, that here could be a little bit lighter. Nice. Now here on this side, do the same thing. Try to fix some of the highlights. I'm using the burn now to fix some of the highlights on her face. Also, now I'll talk about competition. When you submit your image to a competition, you need to watch a few things. First, the image you want to present. What story does it talk about? You know, what is the image you're trying to submit? Why should your image? When we know what kind of message is your image narrating? Also, retouching. It's really important that your retouching is good. But good, I mean like great, because the world is full of good artists, but you need to be great if you want to excel and, you know, shine. My images now have, fortunately, very good standard, no, very high standards, but it wasn't always like that. It was a journey to learn and to grow, and it does take time. I did not become an expert retoucher overnight, and mind you, I'm still learning. Every day there's something different to learn. There are techniques that can be achieved different ways, and you know, there's always a way to achieve something. I also don't like to discourage people, because sometimes you see a photographer and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I want to edit like this person, I want to do like this person. But just be you know, conscious that that person did not learn in one day, and it takes hours of practice so you can master something. And some people will take longer than most, you know, than some people will be faster than others. Just give yourself time. If you're interested, if you like what you're doing, you will eventually get there. You know, just make sure if you're submitting your images to a competition and if they mark you down because your editing is not good, maybe hire a retoucher. It's not illegal to hire a retoucher. You can hire a retoucher providing you give them instructions on what you want to do. So the idea is yours. It's all fine. And keep practicing, you know, because I know it's not easy. I do enjoy editing though. I love transforming the image as I go. It's beautiful. But yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. So here you can see the image. I fixed a little bit of the highlights, and I just love seeing the transformation. Now it's more, you know, the fun part begins now. After, you know, you fix the things that before were not great with the image. You just try to, now I'm trying to paint the image how I want. Okay, so here on her nose, you can see it's a bit red. I'm going to use a color fix, which is one part of my tools. And I'm going to use the brush. I'm going to set it to 30 and 30 opacity and flow. I'm going to select a color that I want this to be replaced with. It's a bit too red. Just want it to look a bit less red. Very subtle, but the red is gone, which is good. And yes, so what am I gonna do now? I'm gonna merge this, and I'm gonna get my clone tool. I'm gonna fix this makeup here on her lip. I want it to look straight. So I lost a bit of the texture here, but I'm trying to recuperate by finding texture that could be here, you know. I'm fixing the edge of the makeup. That's what I'm doing. So my brush now is a bit harsher. It's set at 70%. It's looking good. It's taking its time, but it's looking good. That's what's important. So I'm fixing here. I'm only using the clone because clone is cloning exactly. Clone is cloning the areas, replacing it, fixing it. Clone is a great tool. Use with care though. Don't overuse it. Actually, don't overuse anything because everything that you overdo doesn't look great. So I'm gonna fix this highlight here on her nose. It looks just a bit too strong. So I'm using a light version of the clone, you know, just very gentle over it. Now back to 50. Zoom in close. Nice to fix makeup here next to her lip. And I keep doing the back and forth thing just because I want to make sure everything is good. Now I'm gonna increase, I think I need to increase a bit here, the dark. Yeah, I think like this is pretty good. Okay, now let's see, I need to fix here her skin. I'm gonna use the burn alone. I'm gonna set it to the flow set to 3%. I'm gonna get small and I'm gonna just try to paint this little stretch marks. I was gonna try to fix her skin tone. I need to make a curve layer dark so I can fix here on her leg. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. And now I'm gonna undo it's just because the way the lighting is, it has some ghosting right there, and you are actually marked down for this in competitions, so make sure there's no ghosting. Just make it a little bit darker and it should be fine. I might even crop the image here. Maybe. I think I might crop the image there because this doesn't add anything to the image. So I may crop the image right here. So I'm not going to worry too much about the leg. Okay, now that this is done, I'm going to just create a copy of everything. And I'm going to run, finally, my frequency separation. I'm going to select my brush, opacity and flow set to 20, and I'm going to be brushing away. So now I'm going to try to fix the skin tones. So it's almost like if I am applying foundation to the skin. So I think here I overdone, so I'll delete that. I don't like it. I'm going to redo. There it is, better. So I'll be doing this all over the image. So what I'm doing, I'm sampling the image, the color that I want, and I'm just brushing it over. Also, sorry, I do get quiet when I'm editing. once the images, the image starts to take shape, you start to see the areas that, you need to go back and fix. So I still need to fix here. I start to see some areas of the skin that, I didn't fix, and then I have to go back. But this is how I work, and it's like this all the time. One thing also with hands, make sure the hands, look even, the colors, the knuckles look even. And there are no areas that are too overexposed, like here, because I have to fix that. This, you get marked down for that. So I'm gonna get here a brush, not a brush, sorry, a curved layer. I'm gonna put it down, and then I'm just gonna try to get a nice skin tone here. Think like this. I'm gonna invert this layer, and then set my opacity and flow to 2%. I'm just gonna brush over to bring the darkness. Bring on the darkness. One thing to note, you don't want body parts, unless it's intentional, to be stronger than the face, because image needs to have connection, and connection is within the face, their eyes, how they're looking at the camera, how they're looking at the viewer of the image. You don't want the hands to be the first thing a person see, unless it's intentional. Like here it is intentional, but I still don't want the image, the hand to be this bright, I want it to be a bit toned down. I'm going to create another layer over, and now I'm going to be brushing with the skin tone. See here, my texture is still on top, so I'm not painting over the texture. Oh, I love freckles, by the way. Oh, so beautiful. You need to be extra careful when you have freckles, because your skin is more sensitive to the sun. So I know beauty has a price. But I'm crazy for freckles. I think they're beautiful, especially when you have like a girl has like red hair and they covered in freckles. Oh, I think they are delightful. I need to tell a story. I photographed this girl last year, and I don't know if I need to edit an image of her. She's ginger. I was in Germany. I don't speak German. I speak very little, enough to get by. I was leaving the supermarket, and at that time I was really desperately looking for a girl with red hair and freckles. I couldn't find anywhere. They're just like rare, unless I go to Ireland. And yeah, but anyway, I was in Germany. I couldn't find anyone, and I was going to a party, and I was leaving the supermarket, and then I saw it was sunset time. So I saw this bright red light coming through the exit door as I was exiting the supermarket. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a red hair girl. So I run as fast as I could, but still looking, how do I say, still looking like, not a creep, because the girl was a child. She was, I think, 9 or 10, I don't remember. I saw her going to an adult, and I was like, okay, so now it's time to approach. I went to the adult, and I used all my German. I said, hi, I love her hair, it's so beautiful. Are you her mom? And she was like, yes. I was like, oh, I'm a photographer. Here's my card. I'd love to photograph your daughter. Do you speak English? And she was like, no. I was like, oh, damn. So I used all my German, practiced all my German there with her. She contacted me a few days later, and I scheduled them in to have a photo shoot, and oh my gosh, we had so much fun. It was awesome. She was published, the photograph that I took of that girl was published in a magazine in France, in Paris. She made the cover, so that's pretty cool. I need to share that song with you. But you know, I just moved. I'm slower than most people to get things done, so I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it was pretty good. Like, I found a ginger with freckles. Our session was pretty much all in German, and my German was sehr schlecht, very bad. So I said during the photo shoot, I would say things, and the little girl would look at me like, what, puzzled, and would just laugh as hard as possible, because sometimes I would say something and it was just funny because the way I said it. But you know, most of it she understood most of the time. The mom was there too, but the mom didn't speak English. She knew a little word, some words. Yeah, so I got A for effort for speaking German. Hard. Like these two girls, though they are German, they speak English, which is great. And Germans are pretty good with education. You know, you go to school and you learn, of course, you learn German because that's your language, but you also learn English, but conversation at a very good level. And funny thing is, most people, when you ask if they speak English in Germany, the Germans, they're very humble. They say like, oh, just a little bit. And when they open their mouth, oh my gosh, they speak better than most natives. It's impressive. Of course, there are the exception, people that don't speak German. Most young folks nowadays, they do, and they speak really good. Like the little girl, the ginger girl, her mom didn't speak English, but she did understand a few English words. She's still little, you know, not like these girls here. They're 16. They were 16 during this photo shoot, and their English was pretty good. It's funny. I love Germany though. German people are awesome. I felt so welcome there, and beautiful country. So much to see, so much to do, so little time. It was an awesome experience. I'll always cherish the moments I spent in Germany, and it's a pretty beautiful country, very safe, very, very nice. I can always go back, but who knows what life is gonna bring me, you know, where I go next. I don't mind moving around and going places. I do enjoy meeting people and discovering new culture and understanding, you know, getting to know other things. The world is so big and vast, and there's just so much to see and to learn, and the diversity really it makes me, how do I say it fascinates me, really. I love diversity, skin colors and hair tones, and I don't know, maybe because I'm a photographer and artistic, like I see a girl black skin like Serena, I'm just like, wow, you're so beautiful and so unique. And or, you know, Selena with her freckles, I love this. I love uniqueness, diversity, and yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. See, the legs, they do look a bit over retouched, because they are. I'm not gonna use the legs. I'm just gonna retouch them because, you know, I have to. I'm already here. But I'm gonna crop the image around elbow length. So just gonna make sure here the image looks fine. Now I'm gonna zoom in here next to her eye. I think I'm gonna not dye. I think I'm gonna paint this area dark to maybe darker. I don't know. But yeah, the image is almost done, surprisingly. This is the before, this is the after, as we're progressing. I'm gonna get here now. Sorry, I just merged everything on the layers from the frequency separation. Now I'm gonna pull this down. Maybe drag this down too. I want it to look a little bit black, darker. And I'm gonna invert the layer. Select my flow to 2%, get a brush. I'm just gonna paint over like this. Okay, now for the area that I went over, that I bled over, I'm just gonna invert my brush and I'm gonna paint over like this. And I'm gonna be adding some makeup to her eyes. And all I'm doing here is with the curves layer. It's already dark, so I'm just following along here. There it is. I like it. It looks pretty good. Gonna use a dodge and burn slightly here, just a burn. Just gonna give her a little cheekbone here, you know, little enhance. That's pretty good. So now I'm gonna go here closer to her forehead, paint this darker so it matches the rest of the, you know, the makeup. Now I'm gonna, you know, make a copy of everything, and I'm gonna run again frequency separation because I want to fix those in between here. So I just ran frequency separation. Does it look fake? I think it does look a little bit fake. Let's see the before. It doesn't look very convincing to me. Maybe later when I add some more texture. I think overall it's looking good. Let's see. Here on her forehead, I'm just gonna make a little darker. It's a bit more realistic. I'm gonna get the curves a little bit down, invert it, and then select opacity 100 and flow 2. Just gonna burn a bit here. Okay, so now I'm gonna just blend this all together. You can see here before and after. And this is the before and after of everything. So let's see what we can do now. So I want to fix her eye. So I'm going to create a mask. And I'm going to set this mask to 100% and hardness 35. I just want to make sure her eye here is, because when I painted I might have gone over the white of her eye. I just want to make sure it's not. So I want her eye as clear as possible. Same with Serena. Okay, now create another layer and I just merge them together. I think they're fine. Okay, what is next? I'm gonna select my curves layer. I'm gonna add, make it bright, invert. I'm gonna do the eye. So I make my opacity 102, soft round brush, and I'm just gonna paint over here to make the eyes lighter. Also can add some highlights to her hair, but I'm not gonna do it right now. Okay, looking good, I like it. I'm gonna select my clone tool, set it to 40% and fix this here. It's driving me crazy. It's the second time that I see it. I didn't add it, but now I saw it. I was like, nope, got you. Okay, the difference. Ooh, so much better. Okay, so what can I do now to make the image nice? So I'm gonna crop. So will I? Okay, so I'm gonna add the final touches. If I decide to change later, I'll let you know. So I'm gonna use soft light now. I'm gonna use the white. I'm gonna set it to 2%. This is part of my palette too. I'm gonna add some shine to the image to make it more artistic. I'm just enhancing where the natural shine is already there, I'm gonna add some shine to the hair, just following where the highlights already are. Before and after. And also I'm gonna add some shadows. just enhancing the natural shadows. Let me save, just in case the computer crashes. It happened before. Right now, what I will do, I'll just color tone my image. Let's see my toning here, because I really like this one. It's already done a bit, so I'm just gonna change a bit more. Also, I'm gonna add a little bit of, you know, the blacks, make the blacks a little bit more white. And let me create a new layer. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, so it creates a new layer and a new location, so I can crop the image without worrying too much. So here I'm gonna select square 101, and I want the image to be like that, but just make sure I'm on the right layer. Here, and now I'm gonna use here content aware, and let's hope for the best. Okay, that's not too bad. I have to fix the hair here, but I quite like it, to be honest. Pretty good. So that layer we're just gonna duplicate. I'm gonna select the patch of the clone stamp. I'm gonna select an area here at the top. Just gonna try to paint this hair away. Now I'm gonna select like this. I just do it very roughly, because then I can just place it, you know, there like this. So my secret here is just to make sure, is that even a secret? The hair, you know, the area that you don't want covered, that you don't want to delete, you just, well, see what I'm doing. This is what I mean. I don't know if I can explain this. Ignore what I just said, please. I'm tired. It's been a few hours now. Okay, so what I was trying to say, if you want to use the patch tool in an area where there is hair, and if you don't want the hair to happen, you know, to do this blurry, all you have to do is first get your tool. Let's do an example here. I will remove this hair. So I'll get a sample here, and this is the area that I don't want affected. See here on her body. So I don't want this area touched. Not here, not here. So now I can just grab my patch tool, go around like that, and do this. So it's gone and simple. It's easy. That's what I meant. I just didn't know how to explain. Just did not know how to use the words. Okay, so I'm gonna just delete a few area here, because I think I went a bit too much like deletes part of her skin. Oh my gosh, what did I do? I changed the layer. Okay, so just gonna make sure it's all good here. Use my patch tool. Just, that's mostly when I'm gonna use the patch tool. I don't use it for other things. I just use to fix areas of the background. Okay, now I need to fix the hair on this side. Similar thing, gonna get my clone stamp tool and get it here. I'm gonna try to remove this. Get the patch. Try not to touch the area you don't want to remove. And do that. And here I'm gonna get the patch tool, set it to 30%. Not the patch tool, the clone stamp tool, 30%. Get the patch tool. Let's see if I can fix this area. Beautiful. And the same here. Also guys, if you've watched this video up until here, please follow me. Go to visit my Facebook group. I have a group. It's not very active because I don't have many people there, but we can share ideas, you know, you can ask me things there. It's a private group. I think it's called Roberta Montagnini VIP. So if you want to be a VIP in my group, just go there and send a request and I will accept you. I also think I'm gonna remove those fingers just because I don't think they add anything to the image. So I'm gonna remove those fingers. I'm gonna use the clone tool, simple. Make sure it's all 100%. Select an area of the background and just paint. Goodbye fingers. So it's very important when you are creating an image that you have a clear idea of what you're doing as you go, you know, just so you can make decisions like this. Is the hand there gonna add anything? No. Does it look weird? Yes. So just remove it. See, the hand is not there. It doesn't distract you. So I still need to fix this area here. This hair is not looking great. Let me see this layer. Yeah, so I just create a mask and I can just delete a little bit here of hair so I can bring this hair a little bit more in focus now. I think it's good. I'm gonna duplicate, merge, then use the patch. Okay, now small details. I see this hair here, don't like it. Gonna remove empty layer over and try to remove, see if that tool cooperates, because this spot tool sometimes doesn't work, as I mentioned earlier, but it seems like it did the job here. Barely, not great. I'll have to use the clone stamp. And now, because we are on an empty layer, I can just delete. The edge there, I know, not everything. And I can just do this with the curves and just try to get it dark. And here I'll try to mask. Too much. Just want to make sure it's blending the color here. Skin tone. Don't know what's not doing. Oh, where? Oh, I'm using the, Jesus, I'm using the eraser. That's why. There it is, darker. Okay, I like it. So now I'm gonna create, I don't know, like this. I'm gonna create another layer empty. I'm gonna use this tool here, spot healing, and now I'm gonna do this. It should work fine. I'm gonna use my clone. I'm gonna get this area here. Sometimes it just doesn't work as we expect. It's pain, but nothing. Sometimes life is not easy. So, all right. So it looks like a mess. I'm gonna mask, and I'm gonna try to delete now with the brush. Okay, it's better. Done a lot of progress. Okay, let me check her outfit. So we have a few things here that need taken care of. I will use the lasso tool. I'm gonna set it to 2% feather, and I'm gonna just do this. So I made a dress there. And now I'm gonna use the clone tool, set it to 100%, and I'm gonna get areas of the dress, here, the outfit. I'm just gonna paint over. As simple as that. And bam. And I'm gonna now do this. It should be fine. Let's see. Yeah, fine. Here there is an area showing the bra. I'm gonna remove that. Empty layer over. Clone stamp tool. Lasso. Oh, merge, and then use the patch tool, and now I'll use the blur just a little bit here. Set 50%. Just use on the edge, slightly like that. Okay, and now what I see here, her lips. I want to fix her lips, the color of her lips. I'm gonna make it darker. Set it to 2%. Brush white, and I'm just gonna paint over 10% darker. And I'm gonna use one of my actions here called color fix, which I select the color that I want, the color tone, and I just paint over. I want it to look more like brownish, pinkish, brownish, you know, not so much like light. So just color correcting. Yes, love it. I'm gonna do the same here. Color correct. Let me make it darker first, as I did the other one. And now, see if I can add some color to her lip to make it more uniform. And then let me see. That's pretty good. I think so. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna go to duplicate, and I'm gonna use my filter here, which is Skull Dust and Scratches. And they should take care of some things for me, like these hairs here. See, like it's doing that. Gonna try a little bit more blur, dust and scratches. Let's see if I do a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna hide. Now I'm gonna use my brush set at 2%. I'm gonna try to paint this with 10%. I think that fits pretty good. I'm gonna use the clone, set it to 30%. I'm gonna get an area here of her arm because there's some texture. Let me see if that works. Not so great. So I'm just painting over here. I don't know if now the video is making any sense because it's been a while, but I hope you can see what I'm doing and learn a bit from it as you know, as I go like that. I'm gonna create another blank layer. I'm gonna get my brush, this hard pressure round, 100% and size about like 4, and set it to 80% opacity, 80% flow. Gonna get the hair here, just gonna add some fake flyaways here so they look more orderly, you know. But I'm getting small hair too, setting my brush to smaller. Now I'm gonna get my blur tool, set it to 10%, and just slightly blur it. And blend, and then I try to blur it. Now like this. Now, wait. I've done too much. I'm gonna create another layer because I've done too much, and I'm gonna get smaller, 100%, and I just need to get some sharp hair here. I'm gonna use this soft, no, actually I'm gonna keep that layer. Just gonna get like a light color here of the hair, so you can create some highlights. And now I'm gonna get the soft layer here, soft light. Use white. Oh, too much. Smaller. Set to 100%. Let's say 50% is better. I'm gonna get the blur tool. Just blur some areas, not all of it. 20%. Like that, and then I'll blend it all. So you can see here before and after. I'm gonna get my dark, oh, not this one. Actually, I'm gonna use the soft light, and I'm gonna use black. And I'm gonna use this soft round brush, set it to 10% and opacity 50. Just gonna paint over here. Just make it a little bit darker. It looks much better. Okay, see, before and after, get close, before and after. So I think that looks pretty good. Now there's another hair here that is a bit annoying. I'm gonna get an empty layer, clone tool. I think I can manage this without, so I'm selecting an area right here, you see, and now I'm placing over. I'm just painting over like that. And it did the work. Make it darker. Set 2%. Small brush. I just need to make this a little darker. Here, 10%. Why is it not painting? Oh. I don't know. Sometimes when I use my shortcuts, it just messes with my layers. I think because I press all the keys on my keyboard. Okay, now I'm happy with that. Let's see. Yeah, and then when I add my filter here, my color balance, I think it looks pretty neat. So I see things, for example, here now, the corner of her lip, then it's adjusting. So I use a curves layer, and I get a brush again, smaller brush, soft round, and I just go there and I paint over again. I set this to 2%, should be 100. Let me use my, where's the help layer here, black and white. I'm gonna use my brush just to make this a little darker. Then I have to color correct. Okay, now using my color fix, I'm gonna get this color. I'm just gonna paint over 50 and 50 flow, 140 flow. It's okay. You just fix like that. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Let's see here. Oh, too dark. And it look black and white. Does it look flawless? It does, but if you see, this arm still looks pretty light. So I'm gonna get this darker. And make it a little bit more dark. I'm gonna use my hue and saturation, and I'm gonna desaturate the reds a bit. Okay, am I done? I don't know. See before and after. And this is how long it normally takes to edit one image. I know, it's a lot. Let me check if everything is perfect. Here, I just saw this on her dress, so I use a patch tool there again, just so I can a quick fix. How you remove this little hair here. Just do a little cleanup here with hair. Let's go on her shoulder. Let's select my clone tool again. I'm just gonna fix a bit over here. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Now, almost final. Now I'm gonna go to filter. It's already here, dust and scratches. So I'm gonna be smoothing the skin one more time, and that's part of my action pack that's going to be released soon, hopefully within the next month. I hope so. I promise I will be working on it, you know, to finish this more efficiently. I have started working last year, but I still want to add a few things to the action. It's pretty handy. So I'm trying to fix the skin, make it look, you know, more, not too much the hair, because you want hair to have texture. But dust and scratches remove dust, things that looks like dust, and scratches. See the difference here on her skin, and it still looks like skin because I use a dodge and burn. I love it. Okay, let's see before and after. So yes, guys, I think the image is finished. I really love it. I think it's beautiful. I am proud of it. I'm gonna submit to a contest. I may change or may add a few things. I don't know yet, but I'm pretty happy with how it looks. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a nice image? Do you think you know, it was useful? Do you think a 2-hour tutorial or 3-hour, I don't know how long now, was okay? Are you okay with that? Because if not, I can edit the video and make it shorter. But if you like it, let me know. All right, so this is it for now. I hope you guys have a lovely evening. You get to work with Photoshop, and I cannot wait to connect with you on social media. Send me a message. Bye now.